Hello folks, I'm Dean with Dean's Woodworking. Y'all come on in the shop and make yourself comfortable. Today we're not going to be doing any wood turning. Actually, we're going to be making a wood turning tool. So stay tuned and I'll show you exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so I ordered a double-ended ball mill 3/8 off of Amazon, and we're going to put this inside the end of this 5/8 inch steel shaft. We're going to put the shaft in the handle, and we're going to make ourselves a hollowing tool out of this 3/8 double-ended ball mill. Now, I didn't come up with this idea at all. As a matter of fact, I heard about this on worldwidewoodturners.org. Some of the guys were making these and using these, and it looked like a good idea. And you know, wood turners, if we see a new tool, we've got to have one. So I'm going to make this and share it with you folks. And once we get it made, then I'm going to do a hollowing project with it and do a video of that. I don't know if you've seen it, but a few days ago, I made a handle and uploaded it. I'll make the tool, we'll put it together, and I'll take photographs and you guys can see the whole process that way. And then we'll do another video on exactly how to use it, okay? So stay tuned and let's get started on what we're doing here. Now, you see I've got this in the chuck with the live center brought up. When I bought this piece of steel, it was painted on the end. So I brought the live center up, not to give myself an indentation, but to mar the center so that then I could use a punch to punch that center in. So let's go ahead and bring this back. And all I did was take one of these little center punches, put it in the center where it was marked, and give it a couple of pops. And I've already done that. So we don't need the live center in anymore. We'll take it out and we'll put our Jacobs chuck in there. Now I have a whole box of drill bits sitting over here, and we're not going to go very fast at this. As a matter of fact, we're going to take it real easy, slow and steady. We're not going to get in a hurry because we're going to be drilling out and progressively going up in drill bit size until we get it to where we can fit that 3/8 tool in the end of this shaft. I think we're probably pretty safe, but I've seen drill bits break before and I don't want one in my eye or my face. So we're gonna go ahead and keep on a face shield, okay? We're just going to go real slow with this. That may be a little too slow, but one of the things I'm noticing is it's cutting. So let's go ahead and bring it up in speed a little bit. And you know, one of the things that I just thought of is we need some kind of cutting fluid on this. So let me see what I can find here in the shop and I'll be right back. I'm not a metal shop, not a lot of cutting fluid around the shop. Don't use that a whole lot in woodworking. But I did find an old oil can and put some automatic transmission fluid in it. That will at least cool it down a little bit. Again, it's not necessarily what I recommend, and we may end up with a lot of smoke, but it's what we've got and we're going to try and see if that works, okay? If it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll do something different. Okay, so here we go. So we're getting a few curly cues out of there. I wouldn't swear that's the sharpest bit ever, but it does seem to be cutting, so. And I don't have a digital readout on this, but I believe we should be somewhere around 300 RPMs right now. I think what I'll do is try to take it on up to about 4, see if that gets better or worse. Let's give a little bit more. Probably should back that out a little bit. Certainly seems to be cutting a little faster at the faster speed. Again, folks, we're doing this so you can see how you can do it on your wood lathe and that you don't have to have a metal lathe to do this. And we're making some pretty good progress with this little bit in there. A lot faster than I had thought we would be doing. Again, I'm somewhat impressed by the progress we're making here. And for you guys that do metal work, y'all may be looking at me going, what in the world is that guy thinking using automatic transmission fluid? But honestly, I think it's working much better than what I thought it would. I was expecting to get some smoking and all that out of it, but it appears to be doing pretty good. I'm going to pull this on up to about 500 RPMs. And I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on it, folks, just letting it just kind of feed on through there. Let's check something here and see just how deep we need to go. So that's about how deep we are right there. We still need to go quite a bit further. The one thing I would suggest is the one thing I am doing, and that is lubing this thing often. I may not even be lubing it often enough, but I think we need to keep that drill bit cool so it can cut. We got a little bit further to go to be where I want to be, so we'll just keep on going. Clean that drill bit off just a little bit and give it another go. We are getting close, folks. Once it fills those flutes up, folks, we got to get it out of there. And otherwise it will bind up. Again, I'm not a metal guy, but I do know that much. And I would like to get that Jacob's chuck just right up close, and I think we can do it right here on this one, and we'll go to a little bit larger drill bit. Let's call that good. Okay, folks, we do have a hole the depth of that drill bit. That gives us plenty of room. We want to be back far enough we can put a set screw in where this flat's going to be. So if we look at that, that gives us plenty of room to put the set screw, and we're going to go to a bigger drill bit. So that one was a 3/32, and let's just go ahead. We got a 13/64 here. We'll go ahead and put it in there. Again, there's no rhyme or reason why I'm choosing the size here. I'm sure that some of you folks, in fact many of you folks, know a lot more about metalworking than I do, and I'm sure there's some kind of formula for how much larger you go with each progressive cut. I just simply do not know what that is. Again, we're going to turn this speed down a little bit as we enter, and I turned it down to roughly 300, and that is cutting nice. And some really nice spirals coming out of there, folks. Okay, I'm going to go back on up to about 500 again. Oh, that's really cutting nice. Yeah, at that point, it's just winding straight on in. I think we may have just got to the bottom of the hole. Okay, let's call that good and go to the next size larger bit. Again, that was a 13/64, and now I think we'll go to a 17/64. Folks, if you indeed do metalworking and you've got suggestions for folks that may be doing this on their own, please put it in the comments. Okay, we're going to be going back down to about 300 now. Wow. It's pretty awesome to see those shavings come out of there like that. So we certainly have that plenty deep enough for that tool to go in there. In fact, it won't need to be going in all the way to the bottom of the hole, and that's kind of what I wanted. I didn't want it to bottom out, because eventually that one may wear out, and I get another one. I don't want to find out the hole is too shallow at that point. Okay, we're going to go to a 21/64 now, and hopefully this one cuts as good as that last one did. I am literally just winding it right on in there, folks. You guys can see how fast it's going in. That's the end of the line. That's how deep it is. And honestly, that's still cutting. But I may have just messed up real bad because it just froze up on me. So let's see what we can do. I got lucky. Yeah, too much of that stuff built up in there, and that's why it's so important to clean it. I might have got just a little bit too comfortable watching those shavings come out and not back that out. So lesson learned for me, and hopefully for you guys too. If there's mistakes made here, I'm going to put them in the video, because the whole thing about this, if I make an error, I want to make sure that you guys see it so you don't make that error. Okay, so that last one was a 21/64. This one will be a 23/64. And then the next one should be the whole size we need. And then again, that one's cutting really good. Okay, folks, I'm guessing that we have bottomed out there. But it was certainly cutting. Let's check that one more time for depth. So here's our ball mill. And see, we could just almost sink the whole thing in there. So we're probably a little bit too deep at this point, but that's fine. Okay, folks. So the largest part of that tool is 374 thousandths. The drill that we just used is 340. So really we only need a little over 30 thousandths more to go. Let's go ahead and we're going to run a 3/8 bit up in there. Then we'll see how that ball mill fits. If it fits and everything looks okay, we'll stop there. If not, we'll go up just a little bit more. And again, we're cutting so little, it just feeds right in there. Let's go ahead and back it off and clean it out. We don't want to get a bit stuck, not at this point. And that's to the bottom. Never really thought I'd be drilling metal on my wood lathe, but here we are. Okay, folks, so here comes the moment of truth. Will it fit up in there? Well, if we said almost, would that work? It does go in there. It's awfully snug, and I think it's just a bit too snug. Yeah, folks, I think we're going to go one size bigger. So we've got a 23/64 here, and I don't think we can hurt ourselves by running that up in there. Okay, I'm back. I told you folks I'd save you some trouble, so one of the things that I found out is you do need a 25/64 drill bit, because you want it just a little over 3/8 so that you can slip that double-ended ball mill in there without a problem. But you don't want to go too much bigger than that, because then you're a little sloppy in the opening, and we want it to fit as snug as possible. Just a heads up, don't go to one of your local box stores expecting to buy a single 25/64 drill bit. Home Depot had one in one kit, and I ended up having to buy the whole kit in order to get it. Just be prepared when you start this project, if you decide to do the project, that you are going to need a 25/64 drill bit. We'll go ahead and put that new drill bit in our Jacobs chuck here, and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm going to put a little lubrication in here. Put just a little bit on the drill bit. And we'll get right back at it. It's a new drill bit, and it is cutting great. And that's to the bottom of it. Now let's see how that ball mill fits up in there now. Just a little bit of wiggle room, but it goes up in there just like we want it to. Okay, folks, so the drilling process is done, and now we've got to do a couple more things. Number one, I want to sand this thing down so I can clean it up. I want it to look nice. So the next step is we're going to get some fine sandpaper or emery cloth that I've got over here, and we're going to sand this thing down and polish it up, okay? Okay, folks, so I went ahead and put the live center back in the lathe and put the cone center on it so that we can put that up in the hole we drilled. That'll keep everything straight. Put just a little bit of pressure. I extended this out. The tool extending outside the handle is going to be about 9 inches. And we're going to have about 4 inches that's going to go back up in the handle. Actually, I think we'll make that about 3.5, give ourselves an extra 1/2 inch there. Okay, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and scribe myself a couple of little marks on this. I've got the tool rest here, and I'm just going to use an awl and just scribe a couple of little marks real quick so I know where I'm at. That way I've got a reference. Okay, I've got some 320 here, and we're going to go ahead and start with that, folks. And we're just going to polish that up a little bit. If you're doing this, just be careful, guys. Make sure you're not gripping that sandpaper too tight. Should it wrap around that shaft, you don't want it taking your hand into the mix. We're going to go ahead and get a little bit coarser here. I have got some 180. I wasn't sure I was going to use it, but I think we will. See if that view is not a little bit better for you folks. You see exactly what I'm doing. Again, we're just taking this down. Okay, folks, we're going to hit it with some 240 now. Now we're going to come back and hit it with a 320 again. I think this said it was 500 on the package. It ought to take some of those other scratches out of there. Again, I'm not looking for a mirror polish on this. I just wanted it to look a little bit better than just cold rolled steel. And I'm using what I've got. That's the big thing. And then this was labeled crocus cloth. I'm not sure what grit that is either. But it is pretty doggone smooth, or pretty fine, I should say. Okay, folks, that's about as good as we're going to get it today. So now let me see if I can find a hacksaw and we'll cut this off. Okay, folks, we're back. I managed to find a hacksaw, and not only did I find a hacksaw, but I found a new blade for it. So we're going to take this off the old-fashioned way. And it's off there, guys. Let me go around the other side of the lathe and retrieve it. So we have got a 13/64 bit in the drill press. Okay, so I centered that up best I could. And I'm going to pop a point in there so that give our drill bit a little bit better chance of starting and staying straight. Get ourselves lined up here real good. And we're going to go ahead and start drilling this. Then we will tap it with a 1/4 20 tap. So drilling that was fairly easy. Now let's see how difficult it is to get a tap to go in there straight. Okay, so we got that drilled and tapped, and now what we're going to do is I'm just going to polish that off where the metal came up around the tap, and then hit the ends just a little bit, and we'll polish that end up real quick, okay? Okay folks, we're getting closer and closer to a real live tool here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the grinder and I'm going to grind a flat right along there. Something for those set screws to bite into, okay? So I will be right back. I'm not going to film that, but I do want you guys to know I'm just going to grind a flat right there, okay? Okay folks, so you may have heard the expression, some assembly required. Well, that's where we're at right now, okay? So we're going to take this quarter 20 set screw and we're going to thread it right in to the end of that rod. We're going to take our ball mill. Okay, we got our set screw in the end of our rod we just machined. We're going to put the ball mill right in there and we're going to tighten that set screw right against that ball mill. Now if you rotate it and kind of work with it, you can get it on the flat there, and then we're going to give it a pretty snug little tighten, and that completes the tool portion. You'll notice that I flatten this off back here because we're going to take and insert that into the handle. We're going to tighten that down right there on the tool. And folks, we have made a tool. So this is a 3/8 double-ended ball mill. As you push that in, it will drill, and as you come back against that sharp side, it will cut. So it makes a great hollowing tool from what I understand. I haven't used this one yet. However, you'll get to see me use it very soon because I'm going to do a video hollowing out a small vessel just to see how it works. Folks, if you like what you've seen, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Please leave me comments. I know a lot of you folks out there know a whole lot more about metalworking than I do, and I'm sure you can help some of these other folks out that are watching. I would really appreciate it, and I know they would. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy turning.